My microwave says 5 o'clock, so let's get the party started. Everybody, welcome to the Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 Public Arts Commission meeting. John, do you want to take roll and establish a quorum, please?
Sure thing. Commissioner Couture?
Here.
Commissioner Janjigian?
Here.
Commissioner Moore?
Here.
Vice Chair Corrigan?
Here.
Chair Waldman?
Here.
And
Commissioner Tasic is absent. So we do have a quorum.
Perfect, thank you. All right, before we go into our meeting agenda, I'm going to ask, because we have at least one person who is a member of the public, if they have any comments on items that are not on the agenda. Essen, did you have any comments?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and hop into our agenda now. I hope everyone had a chance to look at the meeting minutes from the last meeting all the way back from January 26th, February 6th. Terry, you're always the one who wants to make a motion to accept
I move to approve the meeting minutes of February. No, that's today. I have it right here in front of me. Hang on. January 26, 2023.
Okay, and the agenda does say February 6th, and I don't recall that in the packet. Did I miss it?
No, it was there.
Is there? Okay.
It's here.
Then,
Yeah,
my
I have
bad.
it.
all right, I'll second it then, even though I skipped something.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Commissioner Couture?
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Vice Chair Corrigan?
Yes.
And Chair Waldman?
Yeah.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, item number 2. We're going to try and go through this quickly because I know that Jenna's got some other stuff on her agenda today. Before we go into item 2, are there any comments from the public on agenda item number 2? Nope. Okay. Agenda item 2 is for our community pop-up art project proposal. Jenna, are you going to be talking about that?
No, so this is why SM Lou is here.
Oh, okay. I am sorry.
She has come with a proposal for a community art project. So let's SM take it away.
I will let her have the floor.
John, do you have the presentation that you want to bring up on screen?
I should have been prepared for that. Okay. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Great.
Okay, I'm SM Liu, and I'm a longtime resident of Los Altos. Some of you have probably seen me running around town with my camera. I like taking pictures. I'm also a longtime gardener, and looking at the lovely public art we have in the city, and also for the planters in full bloom, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun, and pardon my hat, wouldn't it be fun to plant some photos of Los Altos folks into the planters like flowers? So last year, do I have control over the slides? Or next, please?
John?
John?
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else is having a hard time hearing, but I'm sorry, I think you're a little muffled.
Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Okay, I need to lean in a bit.
Thank you.
So I thought it'd be fun to just have a display of photos popping up like flowers among the planters, among the flowers in the planters. And since it's Mother's Day and Father's Day coming up, then perhaps celebrating parenthood as part of this would be fun. So next, please, John. John? Okay. Okay, so these are some sample images to give you an idea of what I'm thinking about. Generally celebrating the relationship between parents and children. Next, please. So this is a visualization of what the prints might look like, planted in the planters and flower beds in one case. Next, please. So the idea is to start in the central part of downtown, in the corners of State, 2nd, Main, and 3rd, where there are the most planters, and then allowing myself to spread out to Veterans Plaza and First Street, if I have enough prints. Next, please. So I'm thinking, and I actually went and did a count of the planters, and there are actually a lot of them in downtown, but at least from the point of view of the city, there are about 40. So as a starting point, thinking 40 to 60 images between 4x6 and 18 by 24. The visualization you saw earlier were typically about 18 by 24. And I would place them in the city-owned planters since they are the dominant ones within downtown, and then make an outreach to the village association and the merchants for possible hosting in their planters as well, if they might be interested. Next, please. So to keep up with the very casual, springy kind of atmosphere, I would basically print them on yard sign material or something similar. They're rigid, waterproof, and will last easily several months. Typically, this is the Coroplast, the corrugated plastic material, or 3mm thick rigid PVC. I will not frame them, but just mount them on yard sign stakes. And so they're very, very lightweight, maybe a pound or 2 max, I think actually less, with no impact on any of the irrigation, the fixed irrigation that are in the city planters. I took a look, those are all very sturdy PVC piping, and the yard step signs should be able to go in with no impact whatsoever. And what I would do is put a QR code linking to a website on the image, and it would have more information about the exhibit and also full-size digital versions of the images, and I'll explain that in a moment. I have provided a couple of samples to John so you can take a look at what they look like physically. So these are not, these are test prints, so they're not necessarily the right colors or quite exactly the way I want them to be, but they will give you a feel for the material. Next, please. So I take pictures for fun. I love taking pictures of people, and I do not plan for the prints to be for sale. What I usually do is after a show, give the prints to the subject of the photo as my way of saying, hey, thanks for letting me share this moment. I took a picture of you, you weren't looking, but it's a good picture. So if you would like to have it, that would make me very happy. And that's why I would also make digital versions available on a website. I've done this before with a library show some years ago. Unfortunately, the number of prints that are claimed is not as high as I would like. And there's always a problem with just connecting with the right people. But the result is, if there are, there will be unclaimed prints, I'd be happy to make them available to the city for placement elsewhere. Next, please. So what do we need to do? I can take care of all the production arrangements. I don't need financing, but of course, what I will need would be permission from the appropriate city department for use of the planters, and then coordinating with any maintenance or planting that might go on in the months of May and June. It would be great if the city can promote the show so that people would know about it and hopefully find themselves in the pictures and claim the image. Next, please. So this is just a little bit more about me. I've had a couple of photo shows at the library, and you might have seen my photos in the town crier. I cover events like pet parades and train shows and art and wines, lots of fun. I'm also a longtime gardener myself, so I'm not going to do anything terribly foolish, putting signs into a planter and trampling over plants. I do know how to take care of them. So that's basically it. The last slide is just an explanation in detail about the 2 sample prints that I brought for John. So what I'd like to do is ask the Public Arts Commission's support in and perhaps liaison with the right part of the city to get permission to put up a show, if that's something that you feel would be of interest to the city, of course.
So first off, I want to thank you for bringing this idea to us. I think it's interesting, it's intriguing, it's something we had not thought of doing, I mean, we've turned downtown into a bit of an art show with our sculptures, but not a pop-up. So I think that's an intriguing idea. And I also was looking up, the pet parade this year is on May 20th. So that would correspond with the time between Mother's Day and Father's Day, and get more people downtown to see the show. And I like the idea of having it between Mother's Day and Father's Day. But I do have 2 things. One, and John would probably know this better than I would, do we need waivers if there's children involved in the photos? It's
Yeah,
kind of a
that was one of the things I was going to suggest, was photo releases for participants.
Right. These are taken under street photography rules, and so no waivers are necessary. Model releases, it's a long legal thing, and I'm not very good at putting it into words. Essentially, if you take pictures for editorial purposes, so exhibits, or also for news, no release is required on public property. And all of the pictures were taken
But I think
in downtown or park.
but this would be a city-sponsored event. So therefore, John would have to take it back to our city attorney, I think. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I know I don't want us to go down the road and have the city attorney say this is not a good idea, and maybe Janet sense that as with a law degree that I do not have.
I think Monica froze. Yeah, I just had a question. So would you be getting permission from the subjects?
No, these are all street photos.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
the photos that show up in the crier, they're taken without a release.
I think it probably does require some sort of legal review, because it's not for editorial purposes. This would be the city. And I would be nervous that a parent sees their child's photo downtown Main Street and hasn't given permission. I mean, by the way, it's a beautiful idea. I mean, it's so creative, and it's like, thank you so much. It's really thinking out of the box. I think it's beautiful, but yeah, it's just in this world that we live in now. So
Thinking out of the box again, perhaps we could have some kind of ad that we would put in the town crier that said photos for pop-up shows will be you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of this week, bring your pen to sign the permission slip or something like that. And then we'd be able to use these photos.
Except I
I
think,
don't
do
know.
you envision, I think do you envision that they would be candids, like, or that you wouldn't have people pose?
You know, they'd be,
You-
but you could still do, I mean, we do it all the time with my kids and grandkids. We're not, you know, we know we're getting our picture taken, but we're not posing for it.
But perhaps, SM, could you work with John to come up with a release form, because it would be reflecting on the city and speaking for the city essentially, that you could have, you take the candid photo and then have them sign a release form.
Okay, yeah, there are standard model release forms.
Okay,
And I'll provide John with the legal information for non-city events, because I did a similar show in the library, but of course that's not city sponsored, so there is a difference. I see what you're saying.
And why are you not asking for any kind of a reimbursement for at least the supplies? I mean, seems like you could. We have budget for these sort of events. I'm just curious.
Well,
It
since
costs
my
money.
plan is to give the prints away, it seemed kind of like I'd be asking the city to pay for something that I then give away. It seemed not to make sense.
well, we do community engagement projects that, we as a commission or the city pays for, we have a budget for, and people take things home with them, and that's okay. It's bringing art to people and making them aware of different types of art.
The other thing is fear of accounting. I mess with a lot of accounting in my other life, and something that I don't have to straightforward. I just plant them in the planters. People, if they like them, take them away and are happy. And if the ones that are not taken away can be used by someone else, then it's all good. It's because it's not framed, because it's just a yard sign, the costs go down a lot. A lot of times we're putting on a show, the biggest cost is frame and glass and mat. So it's not a great expense, and I just thought it'd be easier to do it this way.
Well, I have an idea that will increase the expense, so then maybe we can actually pay for it. And I know as an artist, I don't like other people telling me what to do. But I drew some sketches. Sorry for the stick figures. I'll put little happy faces on them. But I was thinking, because you were talking about the blooming flowers and such, like if we took the photos and if we could find some kind of like flower, pretend it's a flower, pretend I did a good job here. Put the picture onto some kind of flower. I think just having photos on sticks might be a little strange downtown. Maybe putting them on some kind of flower thing would help. If everyone else is okay with just photos, that's fine by me too. I was just trying to, make it a little more spring-like and fun, but that could be an option.
Well, I just want to say that, if you don't mind, I absolutely love this idea. As a parent of two boys, I just want to thank you sincerely for sharing your art with us. Oftentimes parents don't have photos with their children. They're always on the other side of the camera. I appreciate the candidness of your photos and how they celebrate the beauty and chaos of parenthood, and how they'll coincide with your, the installation would coincide with Mother's and Father's Day. And I also love the analogy of how parenthood compares to nurturing a garden and encouraging our children to blossom and come into their own. I, for one, if you posted one of me and one of my sons, I would definitely want to purchase it, because I think it's such a beautiful idea for sharing with us.
Jenna,
we
are
can
you
make it
signing
work.
are you signing the waiver? I have a pen.
Absolutely. I'll be the first to sign.
Yeah, I understand. I also love this idea. I understand our trepidation with the waiver thing, because we're so worried about people getting mad at us. We don't want anybody to get mad at us. We're not that kind of a group. And so we just want to make sure that the parents agree to have the kids photographed and the parents agree to be photographed. It's a weird world out there.
Yeah, the concept is wonderful, and I think we should do it,
Yes.
but we need to do it under the right conditions so we don't get into trouble.
Okay. Some of the events actually had a waiver, general waiver announcement posted. Usually that's the History Museum. But let me work with John and I'll present John with some ideas and information to start the process.
That sounds
Now, the
great.
second one with flowers. The challenge there, I'd have to think about it some more. The challenge is most of the images are not square, they're long. So they're harder to do a frame around. I've explored the idea of doing cutouts where it would just be people popping up among the flowers. Not all images are suitable for that. And then if you can't really cut corrugated board. You can cut PVC, but right now I don't have a very good PVC printer yet. They can cut, but whether they can make a nice print is still up in the air. So my fallback position, since I could use a photo, which is probably the top photo printer in the area, have a photo print corrugated signs, although you see a texture, it sort of adds to a general informal mood. And then, of course, for people who really love their image, Jenna, for example, the website is there so that you can download a full-size digital. So you can do whatever you want, put it on a mug, put it on a blanket. You know, it's your image, really. And I'm happier when you can enjoy it than if it's just sitting on my hard drive.
John, I think we're all pretty enthused by this idea. If we make a motion, I assume we should probably have a subcommittee to help with it, and that SM would work with you, and therefore you be the conduit to our city attorney to make sure that an appropriate waiver is created, correct?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea of creating a subcommittee to work with SM and staff to carry out the project.
Good.
All right, do I see any hands? Oh, sorry, SM, you
Question.
wanted to say something?
Which city department would we be working with in terms of the planters?
It'd probably be a couple of them, just because we have our economic development staff who know the downtown and work with the downtown, as well as our maintenance crews who maintain some of the planners. The village association maintains some of the planners, so we probably will coordinate with them and whatnot. But you can continue to talk to myself and work with me.
Excellent, thank you.
Since I think a motion is about to happen, I would become a budget just then with the such. If you're going to print out 20 or 40 of these, what kind of costs are you looking at to yourself?
I budgeted $2,000.
Paper. Such.
That was about what this show in the library was.
You broke up. I didn't hear what you said. That
Sorry,
I'm sorry, I should have leaned in. I budgeted about $2,000.
oh
yeah.
You should get reimbursed.
I don't know how that figures into the general scheme of
Yeah,
things for the city.
I think the art commission has the ability to reimburse you for that amount of money.
Okay,
Before we make a motion, is there someone who would be ones?
Monica, you broke up.
I mean, oh, all right.
Start over, Monica. You broke up. Oh my
You
God.
lived in this committee.
It was
Am I
all
coming
choppy,
through?
Monica.
Let me move. Hold on.
Or
All right,
maybe,
is it better now?
yeah,
Yeah.
if you have a camera, maybe that will help with the
Let me
bandwidth.
turn off my video. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. I look better this way, don't I? Is that better now?
No.
The sound is, the picture is not.
Sounds much
Okay,
better.
okay. So before we make a motion, is there anybody who would be interested in being on the subcommittee to work on this project?
I'd be interested. It's Jenna.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay, so we have Jenna, Lucy, and Terry. Okay. Is there someone who would like to make a motion to get the ball rolling?
I can give it a shot.
Okay,
So I move that we form a subcommittee to work with SM and John to secure guidance on whether and if and how a waiver should be secured in order to go forward with the project. And then also, I don't know if I can add this to the motion, but and then also to set aside or allocate $2,000 as a budget for this project.
I second the motion.
can I make a friendly amendment to the motion that we have maybe $500 in reserve on that budget just in case a little extra money is needed?
Yes.
Okay. Is that all right, John?
Yep, I was actually gonna suggest something along those lines.
Ah, good. Okay,
It's been moved and seconded. Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Corrigan, Chair Waldman.
yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Yay, and thank you one more time from all of us for this really great idea. This is a fantastic idea. And I
Yeah.
think
oh,
it's,
thank you.
I think people are really gonna enjoy it. And it's a great time of year too, very good timing as well.
Definitely.
I hope so. It's just seems like fun, and fun is always good. So thank you for your support, and I will work with John to move this forward.
Okay, and I think the members of the subcommittee will also be getting in touch with you perhaps, and John can help get the email addresses and such to you.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. And we have a new person from the public, and I apologize, I'm having choppy internet reception at home, so I am on no video. So before we go into agenda item number 3, Art Without Walls, do we have any comments from the public? No, okay. So our agenda item number 3, Art Without Walls, we're going to review 3 entries, and we're talking, I believe, about the placement of the entries. And John, could you
Yeah.
bring the information, please?
Yeah, so I did want to start out with a little bit of a report. I've been reaching out to the artists and have been working with a number of them on scheduling the installations. We don't have any scheduled yet. I think the poor weather is sort of discouraging some hard dates for right now. But certainly as the weather starts to improve, we'll get those dates scheduled. I did want to report on 2 of the sculptures that the commission had approved with the locations. One is Bubbles, that sculpture, I reached out and the artist told me that he talked with his representatives and unfortunately the piece has been sold. And so it's no longer available for installation in the city. The other piece, Vortex, in talking with the artist, I think the location that was selected, the concrete pad is not going to be big enough for the actual piece itself. The artist was saying that he needs it to be 4x4. And the pad that was selected was along First Street. It's one that's 3x3. And so we would need to either not accept that piece or find a new location for it. Regarding the 3 pieces that are in the packet, I'll start with let me call this up real quick.
John, a quick question. If we decide with Vortex that we still would like it in the city and we're just going to locate a better spot for it with a larger pad, do we need to make a motion for that, or can the subcommittee go off and do that?
I think we would need a motion for the location, yes.
Okay.
I think we need a motion for the subcommittee to find a different location. Yes.
Okay.
So I'll start with tolling of the bell. This one, I was going to go in front of the Loyola Fire Station. I reached out to the fire chief. He thinks it's okay. He was just going to check with one more person to make sure that there weren't any issues, but I think that one we're good to go. Unless, of course, the chief comes back and says, well, no, they said no. So that one, I think we're okay. The butterflies in the park, which is this one, we'd asked the artist how, we wanted to reach out to the artist. How was it going to be mounted? What does it weigh? Oh, shoot, sorry, I had the response, and now I can't find it. I apologize for that. The piece weighs, each of the pieces, the artist says weigh between 60 and 75 pounds. And then mounting is determined on the surface, but usually it's bolts and basically it's bolted onto the wall. So that is that one. And then the last one that I wanted to report on was Capital Art. This piece was proposed to be installed along 3rd Street. I went out there with some staff and we looked through the location. We think that it can fit there and it can go there. Let me call up my notes really quick. And I sent an email to the subcommittee, just letting them know of some thoughts and concerns that we had. One, it can fit there, but it can only fit in one direction because the base is a rectangle. It can either, well, I guess technically 2 directions, because it can either go, long ways this way or flip it around and go the other direction, right? So it can't really rotate. So depending on the direction, it may be a little harder to read the word art in the area. Maybe not an issue. The area is sloped from the sidewalk down to the street. And it's a pretty, I didn't measure what the grade is, but it is a noticeable slant. There is, I was going to call this up ahead of time and did not. I apologize for that, but let me call up the location. There is a tree in the location, in the area. It won't hit the tree, but may get lost behind the tree, depending on where you're standing. So let me share my
John?
screen. Yeah.
As you're getting ready to share your screen, it's, I think part of the charm, if that's the right word for this piece, let me take my video off so you guys can hear me, is that you can see it from several directions. Maybe we could put it where rock, paper, scissors used to be, which was almost like, because this is a much taller piece, so maybe that would be a good spot.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's up to the commission.
Another idea from me is that actually I like the idea that it could be obscured from one direction. That makes people stop and look to see what is going on, rather than just running by.
Yeah, I don't think the tree will be an issue, to be honest.
Yeah, so
Um,
if the
Yeah.
sculpture is placed more over here, it won't hit the tree at all, certainly. The top of it will be about here. It will be higher than this roof line right here, which not necessarily an issue. But the top of it would be at about here. And then the other piece I wanted to mention was this building is currently for sale. And there's no word on if it's close to being sold or anything like that, but there is the potential if it is sold, then there may be construction done on it time in the future. But that's entirely just speculation and no guarantee on that at all.
So
I-
the construction would be at least 3 years out.
It would be a while still, yes.
I was just gonna say that I really like Monica's idea for putting it where rock, paper, scissors is, and that, I mean, because that space is barren right now. There's a pad there. I've heard from people who are were upset that there's still there's not only no sculpture, but I guess they're like little bolts or something in the concrete. But scale wise, I think that would be great. It would also be fantastic as kind of a gateway piece. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Mm.
So anyway, so I just wanted to say that I think that's a great idea, Monica. That looks
I-
really,
I did a quick mock-up. Oops, now I'm getting all over, but a quick mock-up.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
It
you
would
refresh your memory where rock, paper, scissors was?
Yeah, I just moved the street view. So this is the corner of Main Street and First Street. So this back here is Foothill Expressway. And rock, paper, scissors used to be right here in this general area.
Oh, I love that location.
And it's a gateway location.
Yeah.
People are coming into town, and rock, paper, scissors was great there, except it was just too small.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
I think we had kind of zeroed in on Third Street because we were trying to be involved with like the Third Street art. And we thought that would be a way to be prominently displayed, but I mean, I'm open to if it's a better location. I'm not married to Third Street. I think that was just the genesis behind it.
No, and thank you for reminding us, and that was the genesis, and maybe Vortex would be better in that on Third Street.
Yeah.
then.
But
Janet?
first,
Yeah, I definitely think we should keep Vortex. I think we all agreed that we really like it, if memory serves me, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So yeah, that would be interesting.
this location looks perfect for the one we have.
Janet's hand is up.
Janet,
let me lower it.
so I feel like I might be leading the witness here. Do people like the idea of maybe putting, we'll call it art, let me look at the actual, yeah, the title is art, maybe where rock, paper, scissors was, and then perhaps looking for a spot on Third Street for Vortex? We may have to put a pad in for Vortex, because John said we needed, what, 4x4?
Right.
And that way, we, Jenna, we would still be helping participate in the Third Street art idea.
Awesome.
I think you should make a motion on that, Monica.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion, and John will have to look at what size pad Art needs, but that Art go on the corner of First, and is that Main, John?
Yes.
Yes.
First and Main, thank you. And I'm going to ask that the subcommittee look for a location on Third Street for Vortex.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes.
Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Corrigan,
Yes.
and Chair Waldman.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
Wow, we're doing okay.
I know, we're just chugging along here. Okay, next item.
Sorry,
Yes.
Monica, can I ask about the butterflies in the park?
Oh, yeah.
That's the one that was to be mounted on a wall. Let me call it up real quick. I think there was just still some questions about exactly where it was going to go and be installed. I think the commission had talked about Grant Park as an option, but I don't think that was ever finalized.
What do you mean mounted on a wall? Not on the ground, sort of, it will be hanging?
Yeah, so it'd be hung up onto the wall.
I see. At what height?
Well, the walls there at Grant Park I mean, I wouldn't think it would be very high. I mean, the piece is only about 4 inches wide. And so the commission had discussed in a previous meeting about putting it up against a wall and attaching it to the wall.
Right, okay.
John, right before 5 o'clock, I sent you some pictures. I took pictures outside of, is it Lacey is the name of the building?
Okay.
Maybe that would be an appropriate spot if you could bring up the email I sent you that said pictures outside.
I'm working on it. Can you see
So
it?
yes, thank you. I took a trip to the community center / civic center area, and I was looking at walls that just seemed to scream they need something on them. So I guess this is technically the back side of the building here, and it's got a lot of open space. And then I think the next picture is, or one of the pictures I sent you, it has the side of the building.
Yeah, let me.
The faces the Heritage Orchard.
Monica, I love this idea.
I think, I know some people, like, they don't want anything in that orchard, and we may get some pushback, but I'm looking at the far side, the far right side, there's just this wall.
Yeah.
I love
I
this.
like that idea because
I
a lot
think
of
that,
people walk by there.
Yeah. And I think that Grant Park is getting a little crowded, to be honest. I
And
think this is a
like it.
better.
And the background color is perfect too.
Yeah.
It is.
So there, it will
Yeah.
show up.
I do want to just say, so the first picture that was shown was taken, I think, from about where the cursor is here. So there's the pathway that runs along the library. So I was looking at this wall that's back behind the building here.
Mhm.
So the wall that we're currently looking at, if you visit John in his office, and then when you come and go from City Hall, this is what you would see. And also if you come out from the library, one of the doors in the library, you'd see this as well. I think this side would get more views, but I don't know the flow in the general area, which side would be better.
Mhm. And the topic is nice. It's in a garden, sort of, butterfly.
Yes.
Just, it fits in nicely.
If I might suggest something, I actually think that this side will have a little more traffic than the others, just because there is the pathway that sort of we're standing on right here. A lot
Right.
of people do go back and forth in there, whereas for the other side, the only pathways are right here, and then sort of down here where we're standing, and then way back here in this corner here.
Oh,
Or
that's
Okay, so,
too far
so
away.
John, if I understand, you're saying that the previous picture, that the backside would be the probably the more high traffic area, correct?
Yes, let me do this. We'll
Can we split screen?
no, but we'll let me call up here. and
Street
show
view?
the terrain. No.
Commissioners, I apologize for interrupting, but I need to sign off. Are we going to be okay going forward?
Yes.
We
Okay.
do still have a
Um,
meeting, yes.
Wonderful. I look forward to seeing everyone in person next month.
All
Thank you.
right, thank you. Have a lovely vacation.
Thank you so much. Take
Bye.
care, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, so what I was saying, so this is the path, so the one picture on the side is this wall here. And I think Monica probably took the picture from about here along this pathway. This is the one this is the library down here. So it runs between the library and sort of the parking lot, and the history museum is over here. And then there's a pathway that runs along here over to the park and on. Whereas the other side was this wall here, which, this is the pathway over here that runs down along here. And then there's that pathway that runs this way.
It's too far away, isn't it? Yeah. This, this would give you a closer look, right? From this area.
And I think people do, like, I drive where John's cursor is right now. I drive that route, exactly. So people I think more people would see it if it was on the backside, so to speak, of the Lacey building.
And it would be closer to them as they drive. The other one, the orchard, is quite long, right?
John, would we have to go in front of council in order to put this piece up on that spot?
No, not for this one.
Okay. That's good news. It can just show up. Do we feel okay about making a motion to go ahead and go forward with this?
I think so.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make a motion then, since I mentioned it, that John talks to, I believe the artist's name is Kat Trevino, about putting the location of the piece Butterflies in the Park, Mother and Son, up on the backside of the Lacey building.
Second.
Okay, it was moved and seconded. Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Commissioner Janjigian,
Yes.
Vice Chair Corrigan,
Yes.
and Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right. Okay, I'm glad you reminded us of that piece, John. Agenda item number 4, community center art. Before we discuss it, are there any comments from the public on this item? Nope. Okay, it says receive an update from the subcommittee. So we had a special meeting where we decided that the show would be titled Moments in Time. John was given a graphic and has gotten the information up on the website. I have translated our graphic into Spanish, and when Jenna's back, I'm going to ask her to get hold of the schools, because anything the schools publish has to be both in English and Spanish, and get the word out. John, have you reached out to the town crier about this?
I have not yet, sorry.
Okay,
I've been off for most of the week.
vacation,
No,
okay.
never.
All right. Yeah, if we could get some, if you could reach out to the town crier, and then if we can get it into the city manager's weekly information, that would be great.
That hopefully will happen this week, the
Perfect.
city manager's update.
Okay. All right. Any other comments on this topic, or should we keep moving?
Keep
Keep
moving.
Okay. Good deal. We're almost gonna be done by 6 o'clock maybe. All right, agenda item number 5, community art engagement. Do we have any comments from members of the public on this particular agenda item? Nope. Okay, John, do you have any update from the subcommittee on this?
Well, I'll
I
let the subcommittee give an update.
Yeah, I can give it.
Okay, yeah.
So I think we reported at the last meeting that we were having difficulty finding a date in February, March, or May on Saturday. And so, but after consideration, we're thinking, that it really is better for families and children to schedule this on a Saturday. So we're going to continue to work on finding a date with John on a Saturday. So that means that this may slip into June, maybe July, but that actually could be a really positive thing, because we were thinking if we limit it to 25 people and more people show up, which is what happened at one of our other events, we could expand perhaps outdoors, and have tables there for people to paint the pots and do the exercise. That's
Okay. Sounds good. You'll keep us updated as we go on. Agenda item 6, public art fund. I'm gonna kick that over to John.
Yeah, sure. So at the last meeting, the commission sort of asked for a sort of a report, an update on the city's public art fund. As of, it's stated in the report, as of July 1st of last year, which is the start of the city's fiscal year, we had just under $500,000 in the public art fund. The city council appropriated 130,000 of that to the CIP. Of that amount, I would say we've spent less than 10,000 so far, but we've also sort of allocated about 25 to 30,000 for maintenance of 2 sculptures. We have about, I think the commission had selected 10 sculptures for placement in the Art Without Walls program, which would be about $15,000. Now, of course, one has withdrawn, but still about 15,000. Which I think then means that what has been appropriated, is there's about between $80,000 and $90,000 left of that, plus the public art funds that have not yet been appropriated. So still quite a bit, and still having more and more projects that are getting closer to the point where they will be paying their fees, and we can expect to see some more dollars from that.
And John, can you remind us when the fees are required from development projects?
So the fees are required right when the developer is ready to start construction. So when they're ready to pull out their building permits, that's when they have to pay all of their applicable fees.
Okay, so it's at the beginning.
Yeah, so typically a project is approved, and then the developer will, at their own pace, will go and will finalize construction drawings, hire the contractor, line everything up. They'll get their plans up, their construction plans approved by the city, and then once they've got all that done, then they get their building, they pull their building permit and they can start construction. So at that point, they have, at some point before getting their building permit, they have to pay their fees.
And I recall that our percent for art funding, if there is below market rate units, if it's a like a multifamily building, then those are exempt of fees, correct?
Correct. So the public art fee is based on construction costs for the project. A minimum of $1 million for the construction costs. As you say, any of the construction costs that go towards affordable housing is exempt from that overall calculation.
Okay, thank you.
And then the most that a development would pay is $200,000.
Yep, it is capped. Okay, do we have any questions about the Public Art Fund? Nope, okay. John, do you have any other informational items for us?
The only thing that I did want to say, as you all know, starting next month, we will be meeting in person. Our meetings will be held at City Hall in the City Council chambers.
Oh.
So
Is that in the same area as the community center?
Yeah, so it's a little ways away from the community center. If you know where the library is, it's the building next to the library along San Antonio Road.
Okay, I'll look for it. And what's it called? City Center?
It's City Hall.
City Hall, okay.
So Lucy, I suggest doing what I used to do in college, which was like the day before classes start, I
Yes.
would go and find where all my classes were. If you've
Yes,
never been to City Hall, it's not hard to find, but
I know, I'll look for it. Thank you.
okay,
for
perfect.
planning. Yeah, I was planning.
And John, you'll be providing drinks and
Masks.
appetizers for us?
We have a drinking fountain in the council chambers. And you are welcome
Good luck,
to.
Monica.
Yes.
You tried, you tried.
Okay. Commissioners' reports and comments. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any reports or comments? Okay. John, do we have any update? Is I guess a comment on Mother Hen. I think the last meeting you said Mother Hen and Will You Dance With Me are slowly migrating to being migrated.
Yeah, so I had reached out to the director of the department, and he had said that somebody on his staff had told him they had been moved. But when I was out the other day, I noticed that they have not been moved. So I'm going to follow up with them again on when that is going to happen.
Okay. And when I was driving around taking candid shots of the Lacey building today, I drove past T2. I don't think we have not a label, but a sign on that one.
Plaque, yeah, and that's something that I'm working on as well.
Okay. Potential future agenda items. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any potential future agenda items? Terry, you look like you wanted to say something.
My question was, you said Bubbles is not going to be here. Do we need to just wait for the next call to art, or should we go back to some of the things we had? And
John, you want to say something? I was going to say that traditionally we've always chosen several pieces and at least one or two kind of
okay,
fall by the wayside. And I think we choose a number of pieces knowing that either something gets sold or the artist has second thoughts or doesn't want to make the drive. And we've had it happen numerous times. For potential future agenda items, I would like next time if we have a discussion about maybe an area around City Hall or another area to commission now that we have money, commission a piece. So I'll work with John in order to get that on a future agenda. All right, my microwave, the last time I get to say this, says it's 6 o'clock. It's really probably 6:01. I'm gonna call this meeting adjourned unless anyone has any last comments. Nope. All right, so if nothing else, I will see everybody's happy smiley faces next month,
Sounds
if I don't
good.
see them sooner. All
At
right,
at City Center.
that's it, yep. All right, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye. Was wonderful.